Now follow the story since the murder. Walnut Creek's coldest case has been a controversial one that, at the time, created bad blood between two police departments. But one thing everyone involved in the investigation agrees: this was a targeted killing. Officer Lester Garnier was found slumped behind the wheel of his blue Corvette, shot execution style.
With 2 gunshot wounds, one to the head and one to the abdomen.
It's been an open investigation for 30 years. I covered this story before on the 20th anniversary of the murder. Garnier was having Sunday night dinner with his parents at their Concord home. His father later told investigators that his son left abruptly after receiving 2 phone calls, at least one of them from a woman. Garnier then drove here to this parking lot. This is how the murder scene looked 20 years ago. Garnier was a vice cop, leading the investigation, Walnut Creek Police. Some believed Garnier had been set up, perhaps by a rogue cop, someone who worked with him in vice. One reason, he was shot with an AMT-380, a backup gun for some cops. A dozen San Francisco officers came under scrutiny, but ballistic tests on their guns were negative. Still others believed he was killed by prostitutes or drug dealers. Captain J. Hill is assigned to the case.
People did think that maybe he was getting too close to something.
More than 500 interviews later, still no murder weapon, no motive, no suspect. Until, that is, 20 years later in 2008, Walnut Creek Police identified a fingerprint on the Corvette.
New technology has resulted in the fingerprint being identified as belonging to Catherine Kuntz.
Kuntz was serving time for a drug offense in Florida, but she lived in the East Bay at the time of the murder. Police flew to Florida several times to interview her.
I wouldn't go as far as to say that she confessed, but she did give us enough to lead us to believe that she was at the crime scene. She is our only suspect.
Well, after serving time in Florida, Kuntz was deported back to her native Scotland. She was never charged. Now, Captain Hill tells us it was hard charging her based only on a fingerprint, but he says investigators keep track of her in England, where she now lives. If you know anything about this case, please call Walnut Creek Police.